everyone, it's Hobo4Craft aka MrHobo here, and we're going to have a really solid game just judging by the players. But first off, let me give a little bit of a shout out to Fumfell Duty, who did choose this replay because he had won the opportunity to choose what type of replay he wanted to see or what player he wanted to see in a replay, and he did choose Catz. This was for a Christmas shout out, or a Christmas Shoutcast I did rather, and as you guys can tell, it's a little bit delayed. I did procrastinate a little bit, but better late than never. I didn't want to go against my word. So it's going to be Catz spawning on the bottom right as the yellow Zerg versus Liquid Jinro, the pink Terran on the top left. Two really good players. Liquid Jinro really has just made his mark in StarCraft 2 ever since MLG Dallas is really when he broke through and just became comfortable at live tournaments. It looks like we need to get up to faster speed. That was weird. I was wondering why everything was so slow. Catz really just been a solid Zerg player ever since beta, so it's really definitely going to be a good game. And TVZ here on Jungle Basin, I think I like it as Zerg. However, the only thing is it's really hard to take this third expansion. First one, it's a piece of cake. You have it right inside of your base. All you have to do is defend this ramp. This back destructible rock really can be a factor. However, if you can simply just, you know, have an overlord over here and know that your opponent's going to be trying to break that down, it can be pretty simple. However, if he does go for a tank push there, it can be a little bit difficult. But oh my gosh, how could I even miss this? It looks like we're getting 4 drones sent from Catz to the base of Liquid Jinro. Now, I've seen this before. What the Zerg player is going to try to do is to delay all sorts of buildings as long as possible, especially the barracks, and even pick off a ton of SCVs. Now, I forget where I've seen this, but it's quite effective if you can pull it off very well. Now you can see that the barracks is being delayed quite a bit right off the bat. We're going to get 5, make that 6 SCVs off the line already. So this is kind of a good investment in that Jinro has to pull SCVs off his own. It looks like we got 1 SCV taken down already, 1 drone really low. In the meantime, we're just getting more drones being produced here for Catz. And it looks like he's microing this very well, pulling back his hurt drone, and he's definitely going to want to try to take out this barracks. And it looks like it definitely is going to finish, and this SCV is going to be rallied to the minerals to swoop right through those drones. Now, after that little bit of harassment, he's just going to send back, cut his losses, and leave. He was able to delay the barracks a good amount, and he was able to force a fast orbital command. This is extremely quick. Looks like we even have 4 on gas for Jinro, so definitely he is very shaken. It was a 14 command center, or excuse me, orbital command. Normally you see it about 16. So yeah, it looks like it really had a good effect on him. Now he's throwing down that factory. We could see an atom, maybe a reactor go down here on this barracks that he could later swap, maybe get a couple Hellions coming into the base. It's pretty hard to defend this very wide open area of the Zerg player, so Hellions can be quite effective, and they obviously move across the map quite quickly. However, the only thing is that the map is quite large by some standards, so the Zerg, especially if they have the Xel'Naga towers, they can scout it easily and be able to react accordingly. Now Jinro doing a good job of moving around and getting his scouting out. You don't want to sleep on these destructible rocks. The Zerg can always try and poke back there with a couple Zerglings and get it really low in the early stages of the game, and you don't want that. It looks like Jinro's going to try to scout out this ramp, and he just might be able to if he can get past these 2 Zerglings of Catz. It looks like he is juking left and right, and I do believe he's going to not see anything. So a little bit of a good job there by Catz right there. Want to get you want to deny every little scouting advantage that your opponent can get, and it looks like we're getting a 4 Marine Hellion push. I haven't seen one of these in a while. Definitely a really good way to put your Zerg opponent on his toes early in the game. If anything, just poke up, destroy all the scouting ability of your Zerg, and then fall back after your opponent has made a good deal of Zerglings or Roaches. It looks like, yeah, we are getting about 4 Roaches on production right now, and Metabolic Boost is on the way. So if anything, it denies your opponent the safety to be able to build a lot of drones without being interrupted. And it looks like this Hellion's just going to dart right in. He has to be aware of not being on the creep. It looks like one Overlord's going to go down. We're going to have Catz supply blocked at this time. And you guys can see just right after that nice simple little poke up, he's just going to run away with his gains. He doesn't want to wait for metabolic boost to finish, that's for sure. However, we can see that it's just about finished. And he's going to go right up in here. He's going to take out 2 Marines right away. There go 3. And the Hellion goes down without a problem. Here comes that one lone Marine. It looks like he's going to try to get up here. However, he's going to need to land this factory pretty quick. Oh, it doesn't look like he will be able to. And we're going to have a group of Zerglings in the base of Jinro. Just a terribly unfortunate miss macro management right there. And he's going to be microing his SCVs very well, pulling the weak ones back and looping them around. But during this whole time, he's losing all this mining that he could be getting. Going to the income tab, you can see he's down by 500 minerals a minute. Definitely not ideal. Coming to the ramp, definitely a smart idea. And in the meantime, he lost a good amount of workers. I would say 3 to 4. And now the Roaches are going to be pushing at the front. Here's the supply depot. It's going to go down. And if he could just take out all the SCVs that are trying to make this bunker, he could really be on easy street here. And it looks like he's going to take down the tech lab. And however, that was not researching anything. And the Banshee will make in time. And this will definitely get rid of the rest of these Roaches. And personally, I think that, oh my gosh, we had a bunch of Banelings morphing in the meantime. Catz being extremely aggressive this game. And wow, this is why he's known for being able to play all sorts of styles, macro, and having a few tricks up his sleeves. Looks like he's going to go straight for the barracks. However, it's not going to be enough. And all these Zerglings definitely are just going to go down. A couple SCVs coming to repair. This Banshee and this bunker filled with 2 Marines is going to be able to clean up very well. Now, in the meantime, we had 2 Zerglings come to loop around, and they will start attacking that rock. And it looks like we are going to have this Banshee of our friend Jinro here go to start to harass. Now, we don't have an evolution chamber down, which really is going to make it hard to get spore crawlers up, but he did deny that tech lab earlier, so he can rely on the fact that there's no way cloak can be done. So Catz is playing very smart with his money, being very frugal, and in that way he's going to be able to spend it on drones, which he has been lacking throughout this game. Going to income, he's already behind by 6, even though he has been harassing his opponent this whole time. So you can tell that being able to be really aggressive early in the game is kind of a double-edged sword. If it's successful, you're going to be able to get a nice amount of scouting, going to be able to deny all sorts of things. But if you can't do enough damage to your opponent, you're going to be really weak on your economy as well because of the amount you have invested into being aggressive. I don't necessarily think that was an all-in from Catz here. However, it was extremely aggressive, and I do think he had the intention of seeing if he could win the game at that point. And I definitely think he just might have been able to, had Jinro not had a nice wall off with his buildings, and that it wasn't made of complete supply depots. There wasn't just a supply depot anywhere in the wall, so it was definitely a very nice wall. And it looks like Jinro now is just macroing up, going to be throwing down a lot of barracks and an armory as well. So it's going to transition into a pretty standard late game or mid game for ZVT here. He's going to be going for a lot of Marines and a good amount of Thors. Now, I'd like to see what Catz is going to tech to. He did throw down this infestation pit. It does look like he's going to get those pathogen glands, so he's going to have that upgrade. So he's going to have a lot of mana when his infestors do pop. Now, it looks like we did get Cloak in the meantime, and this Overseer finishing just in time. And this Banshee will not be able to do anything for the time being. Now, it does look like we have 3 Queens out, 4 Catz, and one amazing thing that you can do with an excess of Queens is spread a lot of creep. And that is just a huge thing to do on any map, but especially on a map this large where you need to get creep shooting out all types of directions. So it'd be very, very prudent for Catz to do so very quickly. But in the meantime, it looks like we got a little bit more damage done to this back rock, but Jinro took the Marines and dealt with it very nicely. Now he's getting a lot of Marines. We have 3 reactored barracks right here, and we do have one with a tech lab that will be able to get a good amount of upgrades. It looks like we're just about halfway done with stim, so we could see a timing push of some sort. We do have this saturated expo. I don't think as saturated as Catz. No, it looks like he's a tiny bit behind, but with those mules, you can see he is at burst very, very ahead in income. So that's why it's important for the Zerg to be always at least one base up on his opponent. And it looks like he maybe just now is going to be going to expo. Yeah, he's going to be throwing it down here, which just shows you how hard this is to defend right here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attack points, and it's just really just a mess to be able to defend. On the other side, there's only about 1, maybe 2 if you count this, but rarely do you see Terrans ever attack through here. If they do, it's normally just sieging up tanks or abusing this high ground somehow. But it looks like the 2 infestors are going to try and burrow, get up here, and we're probably going to try and use infested Terrans to attack the mineral line. However, that's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm guessing he's going to rely on when Jinro's going to move out. So, wow, this is actually a really nice thing to do, because normally in TVZ nowadays you do not see a Raven produced from the Terran. And another thing that's nice is it can really delay your opponent in his timing attack. So if he went to move out and then all of a sudden he saw that he was being attacked in his base, he's going to know that he has to fall back or else he's going to lose a lot of workers. And oh my gosh, we are getting four infestors right here. So he's going to have 2 at each if he chooses to do so. However, there are missile turrets, so he'll have to be careful. Actually, there are missile turrets throughout the base, so he's definitely going to have to be wary of that. In the meantime, we did see a drop, and actually this is a smart play. He's just coming out here, and he already had his Marines out instead of waiting for his medevac to drop them one by one. Definitely a very smart play right there. Now, we can see that we have a lot of upgrades queued up for the Terran, and this is exactly what the Terran wants, to be able to make their huge Marine ball even that much more effective and have their Thor be able to tank a lot. It looks like he's just getting weapons right now. Personally, I get the armor just because the Thors are so great at just tanking all the damage against Banelings and Zerglings. And it looks like we do have an opening right here. And yeah, it looks like Catz is going to move in. However, I'm interested. Oh, wow. Oh, it looks like Jinro had real yeah, Rude Catz is going to call BM, but Jinro explaining right here, he is going to call the fact that he tried to build some supply depots and he noticed he couldn't. So Jinro just very cognizant play, very aware, which is definitely refreshing. Not somebody who just goes, oh, why can't I build a supply depot, and just tries again. It's like, oh, now I can. And I guess that's how Jinro talks. Oh, and we're going to have a nice cloak on that Banshee before it does go down to fungal growth and infested Terrans. I think all we've seen so far is just Zerglings and infestors, which really, if we were to see Liquid Jinro attack right now, I do believe Catz would get completely demolished, and it looks like this infested Terran will take out that Banshee, which I think has been alive this whole game, but has been repaired on multiple accounts. Now, yeah, we're just seeing a huge group of Zerglings and infestors. Finally, we see Catz take his third. We could see him saturate that pretty soon here. However, he is pretty thin on multiple bases. We do have Banelings as well, but all it really takes is well-placed Thors and sieged up tanks to be able to deal with not having to worry about this amount of Marines just getting havoc wreaked upon them. And very nice scan, and he's going to be able to take out both of these sets of Banelings that were rooted down in Catz. Very nice effort right there. always try and take that if you can get it. And it looks like he's going to try and move in before the tanks are sieged up. And he's going to be able to get a good wave. Very nice timing. Even a couple tanks are going to be taken out. That fungal growth used at the last second. There goes another. And the medevac is going to be hard-pressed to heal all of these 6 soldiers. And if one more fungal growth were to go down, a good amount of them would explode from that fungal growth. Now it looks like we're getting a bunch more Zerglings being popped, and we are going to have 2 upgrades. Oh no, yeah, I think he has 3 evolution chambers. Yeah, looks like he does. We're going to get that armor and the attack being upgraded for the Zerglings. We're getting these spine crawlers being planted down, but only on one side. So if I were Jinro, I would just go to this side, but it looks like he scouted them and he's going to move back after that. Oh, he did lose a full energy infester just to a couple Marines. That's a little bit of miss micro that right there. You definitely don't want to see that happen. And it looks like it's a little bit of a fight for the Xel'Naga because tanks are so much more powerful when they do get that. Oh, it looks like he's walking right into the line of fire of the tanks. And that is the 2nd infester I've seen him waste. I don't think he's going to be making anything except these Zerglings and infestors. You can see that we're getting level 3 attack for Marines, or infantry rather, out for Jinro. So he's just being amazing with these upgrades, and they will be able to plow down the lines, or rather the waves and waves of Zerglings that will come at them very quickly. And we are getting a Banshee being produced actually, so we could see some micromanagement trying to double up attacks in that way. And it looks like a couple Banelings were made over at the side, though I have no idea for what reason. I don't know what he was going to attempt for that. It looks like Catz was trying to poke at the back here, but one tank is going to be able to prod away all of those Zerglings. And I'm really amazed how well Catz is just playing with only Zerglings, Banelings, and infestors. This could be just a little bit of trying out a new build. It looks like he is going to go for this hive. I'd like to see if he does try to go for some tier 3 units, or maybe he just wants the upgrades. And it looks like we're going to have Catz go all in here. The tanks are going to be lined up very nicely. It's going to be a wave of them. And all these infestors and banelings are just going to explode. And just about none of these, oh my gosh, none of these Marines were barely affected. And a couple bunkers are even now being put down. And Catz really is just going to be in over his head as far as being able to produce enough units to deal with this. And heading insult to injury, we do see a cloaked Banshee come in, and he's going to bring all of these harvesters back. Meanwhile, these Marines are going to take out this expansion, and this Banshee will easily just deal with any sort of Marine or Banelings and Zerglings that are going to be just wandering around the field. Now it looks like Catz is going to be contained on purely one base versus a Terran that's expanding more and more, and really he has complete map control at this point, doing a very good job throughout the game of just scouting every sort of expo that might be down. And we do have one burrowed Zergling here to do the same, so that Jinro won't be able to plant down an expand without having to use a scan. And really, if we're just going to go to the units tab or the army tab, we're going to see that it is definitely in the favor of Jinro at this point. It's going to be 172 food to 67, and for you who are not okay at math, that's going to be a really huge deficit, and it's just not looking good for Root Catz here. However, he is going to be getting out some Broodlords, which are going to do very well against Marines. Do they have attack upgrades? Looks, no, they're going to be no attack upgrades, but we do have a couple Corruptors to deal with these Banshees here. So he's going to need to move out these Broodlords pretty soon here. Oh, but we do have a couple Vikings on the way as well. So Jinro just predicting every move, and looks like these Marines are just going to come right up, and you can just see how much damage they do with a +3 attack. Completely ridiculous. And Catz is going to say, good game, well played, very well-mannered players. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely a very exciting game. This is Hobo4Craft signing out.